Hey, what's up, everybody? What is going on here? Corey Williams with Excel Leadership Solutions, and excited to be with you guys on tonight. Of course, as you always know, when you're looking forward to do something great, technology or do something for the first time, technology is not always our best friend. So, thank each of you for being patient with us with that few minute delay. It truly was a technical difficulty taking place, but I am excited about this opportunity to be sharing and speaking to you tonight as we are entering the stretch zone, talking about stretching beyond your comfort zone so that we all can be prepared to unleash our full potential so that we can make a major impact and ensure that 2024 will be our best year ever. So in just a moment here, can't wait to introduce, matter of fact, I can't wait to introduce my co-host on tonight, Angel Santiago. How's it going, sir?
Good evening. Thank you again for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited
Absolutely.
to exchange knowledge and hopefully not just myself and you, but a lot of people, everybody else on board can gain some impact and some influence from our words today.
Absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to that. We do have quite a few people. So just quickly before we dab into our conversation on today, we have quite a few people on various outlets right now, YouTube, Facebook, a couple of Facebook pages as well. And so we got over 120 people that's currently live with us now. So kudos to each of you for taking this moment, this time today to invest in yourself. We are truly excited about this opportunity. I do believe a lot of wisdom and knowledge will be shared on tonight to help each of you, no matter your status, no matter which position you're in, whether you are in business, education, whether you are in government, spiritual realm, whatever the specificity that you function from. I do believe that you will walk away with resources, tools, and insights that will ensure that you will make a huge impact as we all enter into 2024. So what I want to do before we get started on tonight, so at the end of our talk, we're going to be here for 1 hour tonight. The last 15 minutes, we do want to do a Q&A session. So if you do have any questions based on what's shared tonight, or even what's not based on what's shared tonight, we do want to add value to whatever it is you may have questions as it relates to our conversation tonight, or any personal things you're dealing with in your business or your organization. So we will leave space at the end of our conversation for a Q&A. There is a chat taking place as well, so feel pleased to chat it up in the chat. If anything resonates with you, drop it in the chat. We'll get a chance to respond to some of those chats as well. Again, we're looking forward to our conversation on today. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So let's do this here quickly. I want to just bring Angel into the conversation. So I've known Angel now for a few years right now. He's an absolutely amazing person. I'm not going to give his bio. I'll let him do that. But just over the past few years, I just watched him in his own business do some amazing things. His family, his wife, he just a all-around amazing, successful person. Both he and I, we are speakers and coaches with the Maxwell leadership team. But beyond that, he has some other amazing things going on in his life. So Angel, just take a quick minute or two and share with our audience on today, just a little personal insight on who Angel is.
Yeah, no, again, thank you for the brief introduction. But yeah, my name is Angel Santiago, and I actually am from California, Southern California. Born and raised, grew up there,
California.
and eventually went to college, played football, and I had the pleasure and the honor to actually attend the United States Military Academy at West Point. So I went through my 47-month experience there, and it was definitely an experience to remember. That's one thing I can say. Was able to be the starting quarterback there for 2 years, which was an honor in itself. And then I had the pleasure to serve as an officer in the Army.
Wow.
And once my time was done there, I took a leap of faith myself, surrounded myself with a solid team, and decided to go into full entrepreneur and business ownership. So, and that led me here to Savannah, and we've, planted our roots in here, and it's definitely home.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, Angel, I just got to ask. I mean, you are a young man still. So, do you mind sharing your age? I'm just curious to know. I don't even know it.
Yes, no, that's totally fine. I'm 32.
You're 32 years old, and you have built the business that is collectively valued at over $3 million. Now, that doesn't just happen. Success
Right.
does not just happen. We are successful on purpose. So I'm just curious to know, before we delve into talking about vision and future things, what would you say the one thing that stands out the most to you when you look at your own life? Are you positioning yourself to be willing to get out of your comfort zone to ensure that the business is, because you have multiple businesses right now? What would you say one of the first things that you would like to drop in the ears of the people that's listening tonight, that's leading their own businesses, their own nonprofits? What is one nugget you can drop in their ears right now to whet their hearts and minds to listen to this young 32-year-old man who has already collectively built something that is valued at over $3 million? What would you say?
That's a great question. And I think the most important thing to do, one, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a leader, whether it may be in your own business, maybe in your company or in the community, the first thing you have to do, and it's extremely important, is to check your ego at the door.
Mm,
No matter what happens, the road of entrepreneurship is up and down. You'll go from being extremely successful, having high income one month, to the next month you don't know when the next paycheck is going to come in. So the biggest thing is you have to check your ego, and you cannot be afraid to admit when you mess up, admit when you're wrong, and seek the help that you need.
mm.
Ask for help, ask for those guidance from mentors, lead on the community that you have, and build a team that is not only going to pat you on the back, when you do something right, when you have some success and you are starting to accomplish things, but also that's going to, check you at the door as well when you need it.
Love that. I love that. Check your ego at the door. So if you are going to be a successful leader, entrepreneur, business owner, director, executive leader, and become successful at it and leading other people and helping position them to reach their full potential, we as leaders, we must check our egos at the door. I just love the way you just said that, Angel. Check our egos at the door. Somebody should be dropping that in the chat right there. Check your ego at the door if you want to be successful. One thing that we learned from John Maxwell, that it's not about us. That what we're trying to achieve at the end of the day is about other businesses or other people. So the
Right.
product and the services and the visions and the dreams and the ideas that we have is really not for us. It's
Right.
for other people. And so when we learn how to check our egos at the door, we will have the benefit to be successful people, so that other people that need the resource or the vision or the value that we bring to the table can find themselves receiving what they need. And so I believe, Angel, that when we fail to check our egos at the door, we rob people of the product and the service that we have the opportunity to bring to the table. But if we don't check our egos, we'll rob people of those potentials. So thank you so much for sharing that. I
Yeah.
think that was an absolutely powerful statement. So as we continue our conversation today, just really helping people unleash their full potential so that they can make 2024 their best year ever. I wanted to start off talking about one insight that we were looking at, and it's all about this: how to discover the power of not only having a dream, but also pursuing our heart's deepest desire. I believe everyone that's listening right now has a dream, has a vision, but the question is how deep is their desire to see that dream actually come to pass? I often says that there's no lack of desire. There's no lack of desire. If I ask everybody right now, what do you want? And people will list off a ton of
Right.
things. I want a new job. I want more money. I want a bigger house. I want a better marriage. There's no lack of desire. But what I've learned in my speaking and coaching and mentoring people, even in the executive space, is there's not a lack of desire. There's a lack of discipline and dedication and determination to see things through. So let's just take a moment and look at this key insight of discovering the power of having a dream. But push us, Angel, if you would, into this place of it's one thing to have desire, but as you know, desire was not enough for you to see your visions and your businesses to actually come to pass.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I think a lot of people have such a misconception is when they have their dreams and they're voicing their dreams, and oh, this is the perfect scenario for me. If I had it my way, it would be X, Y, Z. And they explain it in such a way that it comes off as this fanciful idea.
Right.
But what they don't realize is those dreams are actual blueprints for their future reality.
Wow. Say that again. Say it again. Those dreams.
Their dreams are the actual blueprint for their future reality.
Oh, wow. I love that.
And within a blueprint, if you think of an architect, they have a blueprint laid out. They have all the correct pieces that they need in order to accomplish the project at hand. Well, that's the same thing on how you should look at your dreams and craft the blueprint for your life, whether it may be your professional life, your personal life, what have you.
Mhm.
Right. And within that blueprint, you're going to have different pieces and different indicators that help you fine tune it and allow you to create those steps within that, if you will, project phase. You're going to
Right.
have your faith is one of those. You're going to have your values. You're going to have your family traditions, the mental things that were passed down from generation to generation. All those things are going to help shape your blueprint. Right.
Wow.
And then once you have that, now it's not just this idea, this fancy idea that would sound good. Well, now you actually have a plan.
Mm,
So now once you have that plan, actually the real work begins because you have to have consistent action.
mm.
Right.
Wow.
And so I love this quote that I heard. It says, if you think the cost of success is too high, wait till you receive the bill of regret.
Whew. The bill of regret.
And that brings me back to there's one place, and I love giving this example because once I heard it, it just stuck with me. There's one place where it is arguably some of the richest people in the world, the most brilliant ideas, the most brilliant technology, the books that were never written, and that place is the cemetery because so
Wow.
many people passed in this life without stepping out of their comfort zone, without actually taking a step closer to their dreams. And as they continue through their life, as they pass, they took those ideas that, could potentially have changed the world.
Right. Wow. Wow. And the sad thing is, or the interesting thing that can also be is there's over 100 people listening to this conversation right now, and they have dreams and they have ideas, and they're not at least consciously aware of what they got this vision, they have this idea, but there's no framework, there's no
Yeah.
blueprint for them to see that vision, that dream come to pass. What will be your one thing you'll say towards that they need to stop and do? I got a vision, I know what I want to do, but I don't have a
Right.
blueprint.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, when I coach some people on, I really have this business idea, or I have this, this investment thing that I really want to do, but I'm not sure about XYZ, or I'm not sure where to start. Every single journey, from what I have seen so far, is going to be different,
Right.
right? Because my situation is going to be completely different than your situation and completely different than his or her situation,
Mm.
right? So start now. It's something as simple as taking out a piece of paper on a notepad and writing down the problem that you are trying to solve with this business idea. Writing down, this is where I want to be by the end of 2024,
Mm.
right? Give yourself a goal.
Right.
And then within that goal, you have your overarching goal. This is by the end of the year. Break it down to where you can now create sub steps. So, and that could be, a monthly thing, that could be a quarter thing. You can break it down to where this is my goal for quarter one. This is my goal for quarter 2, 3, and 4. And you're accomplishing those goals within each quarter, you're going to reach what you have set out for yourself by the end of the year.
Right.
And it doesn't have to, be this. You can break it down to the simplest form.
Yeah.
I like to do that. I like things at the base level. I like to see, I want put your left foot here, put your
Yeah.
right foot
Yeah.
here. I like it broken down that way. And I'm not afraid to actually sit down, take the time necessary, and break it down. If I'm breaking it down in quarters, okay, in the first quarter, these months, these are my goals for each month,
Hmm.
which makes up
Yeah.
that whole quarter.
Yeah. And I also think the problem that most people have is that they see the entire stairway and they see
Yes.
these 50, 90 steps to go up this staircase to get to the top. And all they need to do is look at the first step. Don't worry about the 30 to 40, 50 steps. Just take the first step, go step by step by step, and they will eventually find themselves at the top of the stairs. And I think that is so important that we must take our big vision and break this thing down into bite size. And then in the process of time, we'll find ourselves being so much further than we thought we could ever not be because we went step by step by step
That's
by
good.
step. And so with that being said, our desire tonight, you guys, is to stretch you beyond your comfort zone. Most of you who are listening right now, your business, your product, your service, that idea, that concept, that relationship, if you want it to become better, bigger, brighter, more brilliant, it's not within your comfort zone. It is outside of the comfort zone. Putting on more weight or losing weight, getting more money. It's not in your comfort zone. It is outside of your comfort zone. And we must all be willing to be stretched. And so I hope today this conversation is positioning your thoughts in your minds to get uncomfortable. And one thing I learned, Angel, I had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's where
Yes.
most of my growth come from. When I process my clients, I typically use just the same coaching process, whether it's a executive leader or just a team member. I start off with 4 simple questions. And I would say this to the people who's listening right now. Where are you? And that sounds like a very simple question, but the question is, where are you? As a spiritual leader as well, one of the questions that God asked Adam, he said, Adam, where are you? He didn't ask Adam that question because he didn't know where Adam was. He wanted Adam to know where he was.
Right.
And I believe wherever you need to know where you are with that business. You need to know where you are with that idea. You need to know where you are with that vision. Are you going slow? Are you lost? Are you confused? You need to know. I always ask a question, where are you? And they take the time to unpack and tell me where they are. They're frustrated. They're tired. They want to quit. They don't know what to do. They don't have the resources or the tool. So we know where they are. And so when I ask them, where are you? And then I ask them, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? And that's my question tonight. Where are you? Write it out. Take notes tonight. Where are you as it relates to that thing that you want to do? And write out those adjectives of where you are. And then once you do that, answer the question, where do I want to be? I'm making $100,000 this year, but I want to make $200,000. My goal was $200,000. I have 4 employees, but I need 8 employees. Where are you? And where do you want to be? Now that you know where you are and you know where you want to be, the question is, what's stopping you? And this is where it's important, Angel, that people understand what's stopping you. Now, oftentimes we come up with an excuse, and many times our excuses can be valid excuses for the moment. But the question is, once I am clear on what's hindering me, what's stopping me, what's my growth gap, what's limiting me, be it something physical, emotional, or financial. Once I identify what's holding my business, my marriage, my finances, my vision or dream from going where I want it to be, once I identify that, now the next thing will be is, what can I do? What's the first step can I do? Can't do this. Can't do that, but what can I do? And when you eat the elephant that way, versus trying to eat the elephant, one whole elephant at one time, you'll be overwhelmed. Number one, by trying to eat it all at one time. But when you eat it that way, you'll look up in weeks from now, and days from now, and months from now, you'll be further towards your destiny and your vision than you ever realize. And that's going to help you close the gap. And so our desire tonight is to make sure that you are being stretched beyond your comfort zone. And so let's go a little further, Angel, in the conversation. So the other insight was, so now that I understand that desire is not enough for me to see this powerful dream come to pass, the other insight they need to understand is they have to know how to respond to obstacles. Because whenever you're trying to achieve a dream, there's always going to be opposition. And listen, opposition is not necessarily bad. And in many cases, it can be bad, but there's some opposition that is necessary to build the stamina, to build the insight, to build the wherewithal that you need to become a greater person. So when you're working out in the gym, I need opposition to work against my muscles so that my muscles can grow. But without any breaking down, my muscles cannot grow. So we're talking to people now with businesses who has already started a business, a product or a service, trying to build their marriage, whatever the specificity of it may be. What type of obstacles? Give an example of an obstacle that took place on your road to fulfilling your dream and your vision.
Yeah. One thing I had to truly internalize is that obstacles need to be viewed as opportunities.
Love it.
And what I mean by that is, and when you're faced with an obstacle, a lot of times our initial reaction and our natural reaction to it is a flight reaction.
Right.
That's pushing too close, right? That's pushing me to a direction that I've never been down. And I don't know how I'm going to act. I don't know. I can't control the outcome of that. But, and just to give you back to how you were saying, like where you are now, which is important, because when we allow ourselves to speak freely on that, a lot of times we realize we have created our own ceiling for ourselves, as well as these self-limiting beliefs that, were created out of nowhere. They're coming from comparing ourselves, right? They're coming from Joe Smith. His business is going much better than mine.
Right.
What am I doing? Like, why isn't mine as successful as his? And it could be something as simple, and that's bringing us back into the thing that obstacles are opportunities, and obstacles create pressure on ourselves. And one way I like to look at pressure is a privilege. So, and by that I mean you're in a situation to where now you're feeling the pressure to where you have to take that step again in order to push your company, push your family, push your team forward another step.
See, Angel, wait. That's heavy. See, this is this type of stuff and thinking and positioning of oneself that separates the good from the great,
Right.
the average from the above average. You just said some heavy, meaty stuff that if you're not willing to be stretched, the average person is not going to do that. Seeing opposition as an opportunity, seeing the value in the very things that we want to run away from. So what I hear you saying is that I have to have a whole different mindset if I'm going to be successful, because there's going to always be an opportunity for me to quit. Am I hearing you right?
Absolutely. And that opportunity is not always going to be and look exactly how you imagined, right? The opportunity, the obstacle that's placed in front of you is probably telling you that you need to stop and pivot. And that goes back to what I was talking about as checking your ego at the door, because a lot of times you put so much work into something, you don't want to stop. I've come this far, I can't stop. Like, my name's writing on this. My family's going to look at me in a certain way.
Right.
My friends are going to think I'm a failure. And so we allow all those outside factors and outside language to kind of penetrate our mind a little bit. So it's important that you control your own self-talk, right?
Right.
And you have a filter of what comes into your environment, personal and professional. An acronym that I use with every single time when it comes to, failing is, fail is simply just your first attempt in learning.
Mm,
In every cycle, there's always going to be, you have an idea, you create your idea, you implement your idea,
mm,
we're testing it. It's not always going to work the first time. So it's going to fail. So what do we go build? We go back to the drawing board, fix it, put it back into the cycle.
mm.
And no matter what happens, you're always going to keep going in that cycle because, as we know, the business environment, our economical environment is constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. And if
Right.
we're not constantly changing and evolving with it and adapting and being resilient,
Mm.
then we're going to be left behind.
Right.
So that's why I love John Maxwell, the law of the rubber band so much, because it explains exactly how you need to train your mind and
Yeah.
train how you operate,
Mm.
right? You can bend a rubber band vertically, horizontally, pretty far, and it's not gonna, it's just gonna snap back into place. So you have to be able to be bent. You have to be able to, take some licks on the chin a little bit in order to get where you want to be and push past that obstacle that you think is really truly limiting you.
Yeah. In a course I just wrote and still working on about the stretch zone, I mentioned where
Right.
John talks about the need of the rubber band to be stretched. And the
Yeah,
reality is the value of a rubber band will never be realized until it is stretched. And I
absolutely.
use that same thing as it relates to us. The true value and the full capacity of what each of us, each of you as individuals have the potential of releasing to the earth, to your community, to your family, to society, whatever your sphere of impact and influence is, you're never going to reach your full potential if you're not willing to be stretched. And
Correct.
just like a rubber band, both you and I, our true value will never be fully realized until we're willing to be stretched. One of the key insights that we're talking about tonight is the connection between passion and dreams. And I just want to quickly say, many of you have dreams. And the question is, do you have the adequate needed passion to see that dream come to pass? I would quickly like to say that the passion that is needed, or passion is necessary, because it is almost like the fuel in the engine of your dream to make
Yeah.
that dream come to pass. And so I see so many people who have a dream to do this, a dream to do that, a dream to write this, a dream to start this, but they're not motivated. They don't have the necessary passion.
Yeah.
And it's not this everyday motivation where you need someone to pump you up. No, I am motivated by the call. I'm motivated by the dream. And whether it's raining on the outside, whether things are favorable or not, my dream is powerful enough. My passion, my hunger for my dream is powerful enough to keep me going, whether people are buying my product or my service or not. My personal passion and belief in what I've been called to do, of why I have been born, is fuel enough, passion enough to keep me going. And so for those of you who are listening on tonight, as Angel is talking about the opposition that may come up against us, using that as opportunity, using that as fuel in your engine to keep your dream moving forward, all of that will actually fuel your passion and your hunger to see that thing come to pass. One thing about me, Angel, I thrive in opposition. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not, or a healthy thing or not, but I naturally thrive when the wind is against me. When we found ourselves a few years ago in the midst of COVID, I had leaders and other pastor friends who were literally succumbing to the pressures of what COVID had did. And for me,
Right.
my mindset was pivoting into not only what can I do to make sure the product, the services, the church that I lead goes forward, but also what value can I add in the midst of what's going on? What is my role? What is my responsibility in helping people see a better tomorrow, to see a better future? And I think it's important for each of us that's listening right now to understand that there is going to be another storm that will come our way, whether it is a corporate storm in our country or a personal storm that will come against your organization, your vision, your product, or your service. We're all going to have opposition. But when we use the principle of what Angel just said, seeing opposition as opportunity, then that opposition literally will be fuel. It'll be the passion that we need to see our vision, our goals, our dreams actually come to pass. I'm loving this conversation that we are having on tonight. And I hope each of you guys are being stretched by this conversation thus far. As we get to the final stage of our conversation on tonight, before going into our Q&A session, I want to just drop to at least one more key insight that I want to ask you about on tonight, Angel. And that is the key insight number 6. And that is the price of living and achieving our dreams. And so, both you and I, we've been blessed to be in spaces where we've been around some absolutely amazing people. And one thing I learned about particularly this age that we are in, most people are watching the rich and famous. They look at the people who's famous and who's well known. You and I, we've been around some well-to-do people that aren't rich and famous. But when you know who they are, when you look behind their resume and things they've achieved, these people are technically rich. They're just not famous. And my point of saying that is, I wanted people to take their eyes off of people, off of TV, off of entertainment, and seeing rich and famous people as the goalpost. I'm looking for successful people who are making a difference in the earth. And many of those people are not famous. They are not well known, but they are making a huge difference in their spirit, in their world, in their society. So my question to you is, on this key insight of the price of living and achieving our dreams, tell us tonight, tell the people tonight that there is a price, there is a price to pay for achieving our dreams.
And I always relate it to entrepreneurship because it's what I've, dedicated, my path and my career is, a lot of people look at, just like you were saying, like a business owner, an entrepreneur, as, now they're on easy street. They're not really doing much of the work. It's their team doing the work. It's their team doing, that is progressing their business, which in some cases is absolutely true. But nobody really knows exactly what that individual had to do in order to reach that peak.
Right.
It's the 60 to 70 hours work weeks, right? It's the waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, getting back at 5 o'clock in the morning, trying to, fit as much family time as you possibly can in there. And then as soon as those kids go back to sleep, 7 o'clock comes, you're back in your office, back to work, grinding on your craft, trying to protect your craft. A lot of people don't see the hard work that's actually being put in and the sacrifice that it takes. And so that sacrifice is a big thing, because that is going to show you who is actually in your circle, and who is actually on your team, and who's just there to wave at you at the finish line and say, "Hey, remember me? I helped you out that one time when you needed some gas money," or something like that. It's the people that you surround yourself that are going to endure that sacrifice with you. And that's the team that you want to create and build with you. For example, I have, two business partners right now, and one of them is my father. And I saw my dad and my father. He went from top to bottom to top to bottom to top to bottom, and it was just it was a cycle. But it's kind of like, your exponential growth. You reach a peak, you dip a little bit, you reach a new peak, you dip a little bit, but you reach a new peak. But no matter what happens, the long-term gain is still exponential,
Right.
right? Because as you do that, as you make, you fail in your attempt, you're learning from it. Because if you're not learning from your failures, then you're getting worse.
Hmm.
But as you're learning from your failures, you're getting better.
Right.
And
Wait,
everybody's
wait, Angel, you got to stop. You
Yeah,
got to
I'm sorry. All
stop.
right,
You
go
got to
ahead.
stop. Wait. If you wait, you said if you're not learning from your failures, say that again.
Yeah, if you're not learning from your failures, you're getting worse.
If you're not learning from your failures, you're getting worse.
Correct.
Come on, I need some more on that. Stay right there.
So, I look at it as like when we were younger as kids, you would I remember an instance when I was younger, I was infatuated with trying to touch something hot on the stove. And, my mother every time would always say, don't touch it, it's hot.
Mm,
Don't touch it, it's hot. So if we keep doing the wrong thing over and over and over,
right.
you know, where are you? You're 3, 4, 5 steps back because you're refusing to actually learn from your mistake. And that's why it's so important to look at your failures and those obstacles as opportunities, because there's learning opportunities in every single action that you take.
Right.
And it's important that you internalize that and that use that as fuel and use that as, that igniting to your passion that ultimately is going to construct and help blueprint your dreams. Tony Robbins said it best. He said that our dreams are the paintbrushes that color our futures,
Mm.
right? But that paintbrush and that painter without the passion, all you have left are just mere sketches on a page.
Whew.
So
So what you're
that right,
saying is many people are living out of sketch.
that's good.
They're
That's good.
stuck.
Yeah.
They're stuck in a sketch of what could be or the possibilities. And man, that's scary.
It is. And it's just like the quote that we've heard before, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Mm,
I don't think people truly realize and internalize how resilient and how mentally strong they actually are. And I think what scares them is if, what if I actually accomplish it?
what
What
if
if
I actually
what am I going to do when I actually get what I've prayed for? What am I going to do when I actually get what I've been working hard for? How am I going to react? And I love that comment that just said, failure is easier to process than rejection.
Mm.
And that is good. That is good.
I,
And I
I
want
hope y'all hearing this tonight here. This man is dropping bombs on your life right now. And there's no way, if you were stuck, the grenades and bombs that he just dropped should have literally caused strongholds, fortified places in your vision, in your dream to have been shattered. If you just walk out with that one nugget he just said, you can take your business, your vision, and your dream to another level. Keep on going, Angel, for another minute or two. This is good,
Yeah,
man. This is good.
I got you. I got you. That goes into the pain of discipline is much easier to deal with than the pain of regret.
Mm,
And that is the biggest thing. It's the regret that's going to eat you for not starting the business.
mm,
It's the pain of regret that you're like, man, why didn't I go for that promotion at the job? Was I afraid of not getting it? Was I afraid of actually, not being able to handle the extra work that, may be placed upon me with that role, right? And again, that goes back to those self-limiting beliefs that we place on ourselves. And we allow the environment, we allow our peers, we allow social media to place these social constraints upon us.
mm.
And we completely forget that you inside have exactly what it takes to accomplish what you want to do. And it could be as simple as asking a friend, asking your pastor, finding a mentor, finding a coach, just a simple question. Hey, I have this idea. It's eating at me. I just need a little bit of help. It's okay to, and that's the biggest thing. It's okay to ask for help, right? You can't, we're not too prideful. We're not too ashamed. It's not a shameful thing. It's just acknowledging that you have an idea, but you just need a little bit of direction on how to take it to the next step. And once you get that slight piece of direction on which step to go, boom, you already know you're going to be off to the races because you know how to put these processes in place. You know how to create this type of system that's going to work for this. So, we got to learn to get past that fear of the unknown, or the imposter syndrome is if you're not going to get it right the first time. Nobody's going to get it right the first time. And if you do, then I got to put you on my team because we could use you around here.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. So what you're saying is you're hiring tonight. You're hiring for one of your
Yeah.
many lucrative businesses on here tonight. Love it, love it, love it. So as we hasten, we have 14 minutes left in our conversation. So do me a favor, you guys. If you have any questions for either of us, just drop your questions and we'll look at those as questions over the next few minutes. We'll respond to some of those. There's a couple I saw before now, so I will respond to some of those questions. But as you drop your questions for our last 14 minutes in this conversation, we do want to respond to some of your real pressing issues in real time as relates to your specific circumstance or situation. And as you type those in there, one thing I do want to say, in the course I'm working on as relates to the growth zone, in one of the modules, module 4, I talk about making tension your friend. And for many of us, we run from tension. We don't see the value, as you've already said, Angel, that opposition is an opportunity. Tension can be a friend, and too many of us see it as a foe, as an enemy, and we run from the necessary tension that is needed in our lives to call us to get up and do what is necessary. So I just want to encourage someone on today that when you avoid stress, you literally stop growing. A healthy amount of stress is necessary in our life to get us up and to call us to move in action towards our visions and towards our dreams. So I just want to encourage someone on today that you may be feeling a little tension in your business, with your employees, with your staff, with yourself, as it relates to the gap that is in between where you are to where you want to be. Our hope tonight is that we're helping you at least emotionally close the gap on where you are to where you want to be. And as you emotionally close that gap, that you will begin to get up and do the necessary physical things that is necessary for you to begin to see the fruit that is necessary for you to experience that growth and that success that you desire to see in your life. So as we go into responding to some of your questions and your thoughts, there was one that I saw here. Let me see if I can find it here. It was from Sharon, and Sharon had said, so fear is keeping us from being successful. So I shared this a few weeks ago. For those of you who don't know, I also pastor a church here in Savannah, Georgia, called Hope City Church. And I share it with them in our service. And I'll say this to even those of you who are not a person of faith, that as Sharon has asked the question, so fear is keeping us from being successful. I would go so far as to say, Sharon, that fear has killed more dreams than reality has. I shared the story of when God had told the 12 spies to go into the promised land and spy out land that he already had made up his mind that he was given to them. And he didn't send them over there to see if they want it. He sent them there to get a visual picture of what he was giving them. And it tells us in the story that when they got over there, many of them, 10 of them, was so afraid of the giants that were in the land that when they got back to the home front, they gave their report of what they saw. 10 had a bad report, 2 had a positive report. Those 10 were so afraid of what they saw that they talked the mass of people out of possessing what already belong to them. So I say this to you, Sharon, and many people that are listening right now, that the fear in you, the giants in your mind have robbed many of you of land, of opportunities, much more than the giants themselves. If you can deal with the giants, the fears, and the concerns in your head, you will accomplish and achieve and obtain more promises that literally belongs to your life. So yes, fear has the power to rob us of our future. Let's see if we have any more questions here. Someone said, how important, and we're going to answer these as quick as possible so we're able to get as many as possible. So one question was asked, how important is it to have a mentor and have someone that can pour into you that has been where you are going? I'll say this in less than 30 seconds and then give it to you to respond as
Yeah.
well, Angel. I would say I have several mentors. I have someone spiritual, and I have someone I have a coach. I have someone in a spiritual sense. And so you don't just need a pastor for those of you that are believers. You need someone who could be a business coach. If you have a business, if you're in entertainment, you need an entertainment coach. Whatever spirit of influence you are in, you need a coach. And that's not always a spiritual thing that you need. So I have coaches. I've been blessed to have coaches, and I would encourage anyone on today, if you don't have a mentor, a business mentor, whatever field you're in, to seek out a mentor, seek out a coach. Don't look for a friend. Look for someone that would tell you what you need to hear. And you can add to that, Angel, if you like.
Yeah, that's good. And when selecting a mentor as well, you hit it right on the head. It's not always going to be a friend. You need somebody who's not going to tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And just like you do, is I have probably about 3 or 4 coaches, mentors myself. I have a mentor when it comes to real estate investing. I have one for business. I have one for speaking. So I have quite a quite a few that I lean on for guidance and to play different scenarios off of and bounce ideas off of, because what that person's going to do is, yes, he's walked the steps that you are trying to walk already and has become successful from it. So mind you, he's going or she is going to be able to provide their insight on, hey, if this happens, try this, try this. But it's important that, yes, with those mentors, is to listen, understand, and internalize, but also remember that it's still your journey and your business roadmap, your personal growth roadmap, your career roadmap is not going to be identical, because I can't stress this enough. What always works for someone else is not always going to work for you. So you have those mentors that you reach out to, and you take that information, you glean that information, and craft and customize your own blueprint from the knowledge that you gain from each of those people. And that, I think, is how you set yourself up for success and truly maximize the information and influence that you receive from mentors and coaches.
Thank you. Sharon, how can I overcome the fear of starting my business? I'm from a family that values working for someone else, not ourselves. And I would just quickly simply say, go back to something that we said at the beginning, as it relates to the fear of starting your business. Take the first step.
Yes.
Take the first step. If you believe that you have a product or service that you will be able to use to make a difference in somebody's life. So whatever the fear is, whether it's a fear of rejection or a fear of failure, fear of not having the right resources or lack of supporters, whatever the specificity that's causing your fear, I would say identify that fear. Use the process I said at the beginning. If your thing is, how can I overcome the fear of starting my business? My first question to you is, where are you? And you would tell me, I'm functioning in fear. I'm functioning in fear to start my business. And my question will be is, well, where do you want to be? I want to
Mhm.
start my business. What's stopping you from starting your business? Because I come from a family that values working for someone else. So now, how do I tear down those beliefs or those customs and traditions that were started from my family and begin to walk in a new mindset or a new pattern. And that's where the hard work
That's
comes
big.
in at Sharon, that you, yes, they may have done that. That may was the way that they did it. But if you have a vision, an idea, a product or service that can transform the world, your world, break past that fear and move past those limiting beliefs, because
Yep.
that's what they are. They are limiting beliefs that's going to cause you to not fulfill a vision or a dream in your heart.
And just to quickly caveat that, Shan, you're in such a great place right now because you clearly have an idea, and you clearly have something that could solve problems in people's life. And so what you're doing is now you are starting to break down those generational, I say, barricade ideas to where you are setting a new standard for the generations to come behind you. And that's such a powerful position to be in because now you can give a new norm, a new standard for your family and for the people beneath you. And the position you're in is phenomenal. And just again, take the first step, write it down. We remember things and we tend to take action more when we write things down and we get to see it on paper. So I would definitely um, just do it.
Yeah. And I'm going to try to answer, we'll try to answer two more questions so I can honor your time and finish right on time here. So I'm going to answer two more questions. You guys, you can definitely have access. I will give you my contact information here in just a moment, and then I will have Angel to do the same thing as well. But it was a question that came up, two questions I really love. One is, with every influencer, now this is a good one here, with every influencer and Insta coach, where is a good place to seek mentorship? It's asking for a hermit. So the only value I can add to that is a thought that has bothered me for a long time. So do know that unlike a counselor that has to have a certain type of degree or certification, if you would, to function as a counselor wise, counseling and coaching and mentors are totally different things. I like to say a counselor focuses on what's behind you. A coach or a mentor, we're more concerned for what's in front of you. We want to talk, a coach want to talk about your future. Counselor want to talk about your past. And so I'm saying that to say I've seen many people find an instant coach, uh, and I see some of the topics they're dealing with. It's not even coaching, it's actually counseling. And a person needs a counselor. They need therapy. They need help. So my first thing is Google whatever city and state you may be in. Get on Google and look at the bios, because you don't have to have a master's degree to be a coach or a mentor. When you're looking for a coach, look for a person that has receipts. Okay. Look for a person who has the proof that they have helped other people out. You want to find somebody who was in their own hole, who didn't know how to move forward, but they moved forward. Find somebody who's been where you are, not necessarily at the same seat, but who had a struggle, who had a problem, who had a pain, and they got out of that. And now they have helped tens, hundreds, and thousands of people with that. I mean, my mentors, my coaches, John Maxwell, Valerie Burton, Roddy, who's my speaking coach, Valerie, who's my coach. These people truly add value to my life. They have the receipts. I've seen the impact in the lives of other people they have helped out, and they're doing the same thing for me as well. So I want to just encourage you to find the right mentor, find the right coach, somebody that is a fit for you, because all coaches and mentors aren't a fit for you. I don't coach everybody. I don't mentor everybody. I know who I'm called to mentor and to coach. I'm not going to baby you. I am for go-getters and people who want to accomplish. And so if you need a mentor, you need a coach, I would encourage you, if you would like more information about what I do, just simply visit excelleadershipsolutions.com, or actually excelleaders.com, or simply use my name, CoreyWilliams.live. And either one of those would get you to my website and to my resources. And Angel, if you could share your website information as well.
Yeah. For more information, you can easily go to theaceblueprint.com.
Yeah.
And it's spelled exactly how it sounds.
Yeah. And because we're out of time and I want to honor our time, I'm just going to end this by saying something that Angel says here. Yes, it only takes one person to start a legacy. I think that is a great way to end tonight. Maybe you're that one. Maybe you are that person that's supposed to start that business, write that book, break those limiting beliefs that has been imposed to you by your family. I know Brandy very well. She is a successful entrepreneur. She is a realtor in Savannah, Georgia. She has sold some amazing, beautiful homes. I believe she's going to help me get my next future dream home. But as I watch even Brandy and the success she has, success does not just happen. She put in the time. She had much opposition, but she used every opposition in her life as opportunity. And I would say that she is literally a thought leader now in her field. So I just want to encourage you on today. It only takes one person to start a legacy. And it's our hope, it's our dream. I know between me and Angel, it's our hope that this conversation was not the end of a thing. It was the start of a thing for you, and that you received so many nuggets, and at least one of them can help you get started with your vision and your dreams and your goals. Angel, any closing words you want to say before?
I just biggest thing is, a lot of people are we're so caught up with wanting it to be right, wanting it to be perfect. But we have to realize that perfection is unattainable, right? But if we keep getting better, keep having small wins, eventually we're going to land at success in our pursuit of perfection. So again, it all starts with that, taking that first step and, daring to push past what you thought was your limit.
Love it, love it. So as we close this here, I just put up Angel's website, theaceblueprint.com. Listen, but our goal was not to necessarily do this on a regular basis, but I would like to create an opportunity, whether it's on a monthly basis, whatever, to create a space like this. So listen, if you are interested in seeing more of this, I'm just going to encourage you right now to go to CoreyWilliams.live and shoot me a message and let me know that you will be interested in seeing a live like this on a monthly basis. 1 hour, we will honor and value your time and bring this level of resource, knowledge, and information to you on a regular basis. And you may not know, one of us can end up being your coach. Okay. So again, CoreyWilliams.live. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your questions. Your questions truly has added value to the conversation that we started on tonight. Again, welcome to the stretch zone. Welcome to the stretch zone. And we are here to stretch you beyond your comfort zone. Have a transformational night.